Okay, welcome to Living a Sustainable Dream, and today we're gathering firewood and bringing it into the woodshed behind me. I designed and built this woodshed, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about why I designed it the way I did. And I also want to talk to you a little bit about the gathering wood process. So to gather firewood, usually you take trees that are either sick, dying, or already down on the property. That's what I've been doing. I have a lot of birch that is not doing well. The tops are starting to die, and I think it's beetle kill that's going on. And so I'm taking those dangerous ones down, or the ones that are standing dead down, and I'm cutting it up. Now to cut a round, you want to cut the round to where it's about 14, 15 inches for my wood stove. My wood cook stove can go up to 17, but you want enough airflow around it to make it nice and clean. And you really want most of your pieces to be the same size and be really kind of standard on that. One of the easiest ways to make a standard cut is you take your chainsaw, okay? You decide what you want for the length of your piece. And so what I did is I measure the handle, the very end of the handle, all the way down the chainsaw. Now, the still is great because it actually has the word still on it, and they kind of put those letters there in a perfect place to measure. So if you measure mine, which is the MS311, I believe, of the still, I have the S is at 14 inches. So what I do is I come up to a round, I place the handle on the end that I'm cutting on my next cut, and then what I do is I look and see where the S is, I kind of get a visual on the wood, and then I go ahead and saw. And this is almost like a direct perpendicular pivot to get that. This has helped greatly in gathering firewood and keeping the rounds a consistent length. Now, if you don't have your rounds cut in a consistent length and they're all kind of cattywomp between 8 inches and, let's say, 19, you're going to have to figure out how to stack it. What I'm having my son do now is he's going through and labeling each round that I have. I got this from a friend, and he was just trying to get this tree off his property. He doesn't burn firewood. He was going to take it to the dump, and then asked if I wanted it, and I said sure. And I think I got about 2 cords out of this tree that he took down. It was huge and massive, but all he cared about was getting the wood off the property, not really cutting rounds for firewood, because that was never his intent in the beginning. So I have all these rounds, but there are a lot of them are mismatched. So what I'm doing is my son is going through and labeling each size of the round by inches, and then I'm going to take those inches and kind of pair them off. I'm going to put the 8 and 9s together, the 10 and 11s together, the 12 13s together, and the 14 15s together, and then I'm going to start splitting them and keep separate stacks, and then I'm going to stack them up from largest to smallest. It'll be the best way to organize to keep the pile steady so that it doesn't come crashing down because of the small pieces being located on the bottom. I know it's kind of, talking about stacking wood, you really want to kind of consider the safety of it. You do not want that wood stack falling on you when you are coming out in the winter to get it. You can get hurt, and it's dangerous, and we're stacking up pretty high. I have created this woodshed to keep track of how many cords of wood I'm burning through during the wood burning season, and also to help me keep track on how long it's going to take me to fill it up and what I need to fill it up. So if you look at the width of this is actually 8 feet wide. It is 8 feet high to the wall, and every rafter is 2 feet. So if you multiply that, 8 feet times 8 feet times 2 feet in depth, you would actually have 1 cord of wood. So every rafter up above, I labeled a number, and so that number tells me exactly where I'm at as far as wood goes. Looking up right now at the stack, I'm actually a little bit above or into 7 cords of wood going to 8, and that is the typical season that I use is probably around 5.5 to 7 cords of wood. I have a lot of wood still on the ground, so we're going to hopefully get past 9 cord of wood this year. We're looking at that. Anything that is done above the amount of wood that we use is very seasoned wood for the next year. I take that seasoned wood and I rotate it into the front of the stack so that the wood itself will be cured, dried before I even touch this. So the stuff that I took down is seasoning not only all summer long, and spring, but is also seasoning into fall, into winter. And I usually don't even touch the new stuff until probably around February or late January, depending on how cold the season is. I'm going to show you a little bit more here. Okay, looking at the floor, what I did is I actually installed, just loosely, just threw in there some pallets, leveled it out, and I have pallets keeping the wood up off the ground. You really want the wood to not be on the ground while it's seasoning, because especially the wood that I have there is birch. Birch tends to rot very quickly when it's touching the ground. It can't handle that moisture. So by getting it up, it helps it to season a whole lot better. So I tend to put usually the really worst pieces on the bottom, and then I work with the better pieces up to the top. So I really enjoy the setup. I'm not sure what kind of wood system that you guys have set up for your house. I know a lot of people have come up with some really ingenious ideas. This is something that I really like doing because it helps me keep track of cordwood. So if you haven't built a woodshed, maybe you would consider this style. There's other styles that you can do as well to make your life getting firewood easier, because this task is pretty hard when you live off grid. No matter how many tools you have, if you have no tools, it's extremely hard if you're doing it all by hand. But just thinking about 3 weeks out of the year, you're gathering firewood for yourself. You want to make this job as easy as possible because it gets tedious real quick. All right, thanks for joining us on Living Sustainable Dream. I hope that you like what you saw here. I hope you enjoy. Please comment, like, or subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.